Good morning. Good morning. This is Clint Paris, and welcome to 2024. You are live on Intex News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. And this is Straight Up the Middle, where we talk all things politics. As you can see, I'm still in my coming down off my celebration for uh, the Kappa Founders Day, which was yesterday. We celebrated J5, which since it's rolling into the weekend, the brothers decided to make it a J5, J6, and we're going to pray over ourselves on J7 on Sunday for all that we've done over the weekend. So just wanted to give a shout out to all the members of Kappa Alpha, brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi, wherever you may be, and happy belated Founders Day to you. Happy J5, brothers. Keep up the good work that you're doing in the community. Most of all, the level of achievement. And so I'm wearing, in honor of that, wearing my jersey. This was given to me by my goddaughter, one of my goddaughters. I think we're up to about 5 or 6 godchildren. But my goddaughter bought me this jersey for Christmas, and just very excited to have a chance to show you all the wear. So if you're listening, you can also watch us live on In Touch News Facebook and In Touch News YouTube. So anyway, so it's 2024. Got a lot of stuff out there, and long if you like me, make a lot of predictions, expectations, what the year might bring. I've already committed to more healthy living routine and workout schedule, and I've already broken it. So just like you, we all in the same boat. But anyway, we got a caller on the phone. Let's get this caller on the line. I hope it's Professor. He threatened me this week that he was gonna call in, and I don't know what the word was. I felt like he was gonna do a Cat Williams on me or something. But good morning, Professor. How are you? And happy 2024 to you.
Good morning, and yeah, man, Cat Williams brought in the news. But I'm still at a loss as to what happened, what provoked that guy to do that. But anyway, good morning.
Good morning to you too, Professor. And I appreciate you, of course, getting up. I know where you are, other people are. It's kind of rainy and wet where we are, and so wherever you are, just be kind of careful out there. Just so much going on, Professor. And I think sometimes some of my listeners accuse me of not being as polite to you as I should, and compassionate and fair about time. So the floor is yours, Senator. What is on your mind this morning that you would like to make sure that our listeners appreciate about the political dynamics of America today?
Well, the fact that they released Epstein's list, I think that means Trump's going to get in. I think he's going to be 47. He was 45. I think he's going to be 47. There's no reason why they released that list now. No other reason.
And you're referring to the list of I think of the flight logs and various people that were involved in traveling to Epstein's island, that kind of stuff. Am I correct?
Well, it wasn't necessarily the flight log. Matter of fact, it wasn't the flight log. These are just court documents of the names. And they wanted to keep it clear that these weren't the flight logs, so there's really this is not to say that anyone did any wrongdoing, but this was, from my understanding, a compilation of over 150 names that came out during I don't know if it was the interview or interrogation, whatever it was, with Epstein's girlfriend.
Right.
The fact that it has no relevance. It has no relevance to what was going on. Has no relevance to what's going on in Gaza. Nothing's going on in Ukraine. It has no relevance to the border. Has no relevance to Joe Biden's poll numbers and why he's sinking. Has no relevance to Trump. And then they just plop it out there, and so it makes you think. Well, let's back up. Before then, they had Tucker Carlson talking about he had some agent on talking about UFOs a couple of months ago. It's like, what? So I was waiting for something to happen then, because anytime they start putting that stuff out in front of the general public, they want you to be consumed, and that whole red herring thing.
Now, help us out, Professor, because I mean, you I want to be polite.
Oh, I'm very tangential, so pull me back.
I want to be polite. I'm not certain on who they are. Let's climb, because you've got you've got the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, you've got mainstream media, you've got conservatives, you've got the never Trumpers, you've got the MAGA folks. Who's the day that you think is pulling the strings on this? Because I thought it was related to a lawsuit by some media outlets for because once you file court documents, they become part of a public record. They don't have to come out during the case, but once the case is resolved, there's no real secrecy in that information. And then there's a strategy or a plan of how a clerk or the court releases. I thought there was something behind that. But when you say they, I get the feeling that somebody's coordinating something to make something else happen. And that's the piece I'm not really, catching.
I'm alluding to my right leaning following that on Twitter. Again, if it's on the internet, it's true. So I'm alluding to what I see there, and I'm telling you the honest to God truth. I go to Twitter when I want to see all of the bombs. Who's throwing the bomb and who's fighting hand-to-hand combat, who's hurting who.
Right.
I go to Twitter. I can just look at the trending and see what's going on. So I'm not really talking about any one particular entity, but, I mean, I just don't know. So, but let me back up. Let me take the UFO off the table.
Okay.
There's no reason, and I can appreciate you giving that detail on how documents come out, when they're filed, during the case, after the case, blah, blah, blah. But that only matters for the little guy. That only matters for people like me and you, and probably just me in that equation. Because, Joe Biden's had stuff out there. Trump's had his tax record hid for a number of years. So, I mean, this whole, it's a part of the case. Hillary Clinton, all kinds of stuff still packed away. 3 years later, we get Epstein's list, but the January 6ers are already going to jail.
Yeah. So let me ask you. So can you tie? But how does that specifically impact the president? So the list comes out. What happens that therefore influences the election?
Because they don't want you to, and I believe I'm using that they again because I don't know who they is. It's kind of like the man, and that's in air quotes.
Right.
They don't want you to know that Trump's case is going to be expedited for the Supreme Court, and I'm hearing that the Supreme Court is going to rule on whether or not he has immunity, and I may be wrong in my.
I think they're trying to expedite that because if he's going to have immunity, there's really no reason to litigate these prosecutions. You're kind of wasting time.
What do they do to keep the general public from latching on and say, "Oh my God, Trump's about to be president again"? Because really, if that's the case, let's just say that's the case, and they rule on it February 8th. So now all these state cases are really moot. I mean, every Secretary of State can still talk trash and threaten to take him off the ballot. But if SCOTUS comes and says, okay, you can't do anything to this guy, Trump leads in the poll, you need something to throw the general math off because Joe Biden is still struggling. I don't care what his that whatever he gave the other night says, he's still struggling in the polls. Trump still leads the field. And so I just don't understand why that came out because you would think if it has nothing to do with the election, primary or not, Iowa coming up, if it had nothing to do with it, you would think the general media was like, okay, we don't want to release this right now. We don't want this until the news,
Well, unless, like I said, somewhere there's a beat reporter competing to get a story out, and they've latched on to this, that this is the route that they're going to make their name. They'll get an article written. And I just think that, stopping somebody who's trying to make a living by getting a story because of some grander coordinated plan of action to go, deal with Trump, I think is a little strong. But here's my other thing, Professor. I don't think there's anything new that any voter needs to learn about Donald Trump. He's run for office three times. He's been in the public eye for decades. We had him as president for 4 years. He ran that other election and all that stuff came out. We've heard all this stuff about the lawsuits. I just